If you are looking for a mystery novel to read and you don't know where to start, you need to read these 3 books. But if you are an avid reader, if you've read for a very long time, I believe you have read these 3 books. If you've never read a book at all, these 3 books can be a good place to start. And if you've read these books before, this video is here to remind you to go back and reread these 3 novels again, because they are awesome. Now, if you've read prior, if you're a good reader, I am sure by now you've read these 3. If you've read them, read them again. If you've never read them, I am so happy for you, because you are in for a good ride when reading these 3 novels. If you don't even understand why on earth do human beings read novels, you need to try these books out, and then you will see why on earth we human beings read novels. So these are mystery books. They are mystery books. Of course, they have romance here and there. My cup of tea. My cup of tea. And of course, they have romance here and there. However, they are majorly mystery. The plot and everything else, it's mystery. Now, I love mystery novels. Number 1, Fragile, designed by Colin. Fragile Design, it's not here. Fragile, designed by Colin Coble. Colin Coble. This book, let me start. One of the reasons I love this book is the way they introduce their characters. Most of the novels that I've read, when you read them, they normally introduce the female lead. Actually, most of them, they start with the female lead. They always introduce the female lead, and then they introduce the male lead, and then they introduce other characters, and then they introduce the villain, or they introduce the villain, and then they introduce other characters. However, when I was reading this book, I saw the female lead and I was like, okay. And then I saw another character. Now, in my mind, I was like, oh, is this the male lead? And then the author was describing him in a very, in a very interesting way, captivating manner, such a good character. And in my mind, I was like, oh, is this the male lead? And then as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, he's not the male lead. Imagine. So this, I've not seen this in any other novel that I've read so far, but I think this is the only novel that introduced the female lead and then introduced someone else who is not the male lead, whose influence in that book, it's not even that much. He's only there to like give us some information about the female lead's past, and then later on you meet the male lead. And when I was meeting the male lead, I was like, at first I was like, okay, let's read. And then I'm like, wait, as I'm reading, this is the male lead. And then I was like, this is so awesome, because it's a unique approach. So that is one of the things that I loved the most. And then these 2 characters, the male lead and the female lead, they didn't hit off immediately, like there is some spark or some chemistry. In fact, the male lead didn't even like the female lead for very genuine reasons. The reasons were very genuine. In fact, I was like, oh, I get your point, male lead, I get your point. But as you read the novel, you see, like there's the major mystery that the novel unwraps, and then there is the small, like the small things that the novel is unwrapping here and there, like the way the male lead has issues with the female lead, and then it unwraps. Go read it. It unwraps that he's, whatever you thought about the female lead, I don't want to spoil it. Go and read it. It's so interesting. Of course, I loved the fact that there was a child, a very tiny baby. Put a child anywhere in a novel, and you put a child in a novel, in a movie, anywhere, and you have my heart. Yeah, but the children have a way of, it's not for me, it's also for many people. Put a child and you have the heart of so many people. You have the heart of a larger part of the audience. And then there is that sweet baby, and then the way the sweet baby interacts with the male lead. Oof. Another thing I loved about this, the plot twist. The plot twist. Like the villain in that book, you don't see it coming. You don't see it coming. The plot. Actually, this and the next book, the reason I love them is the plot twist. The plot twist. Like the villain is not who you thought it will be. Like when the author is unveiling that plot, you're like, this guy. So, okay, I'll say this. As you begin reading the novel, I thought the female lead has issues. But as the plot unveils, I stopped judging the female lead, and I was like, what? I didn't see it coming. So the plot twist in this novel, amazing. So to just give a brief summary, the female lead loses a husband in a mysterious way when she's pregnant. So After she's given birth and the baby is 3 months, she realized that her husband's death was not accidental, but someone actually killed him. So it's a murder case. So now she's trapped between pursuing this case. So now, because she has to pursue the case, because apparently whatever they're looking for is in her possession, either in her house or somewhere in her property, just somewhere around her. So the problem is she does not know what that thing is. So because she does not know, she feels compelled to go alert the authorities. So she's very in that dilemma. If she does that, what about her child? Will she be endangering her child? The child is only 3 months old, and then this, and then there is issues with the mother-in-law of the son, and then you have the person she reaches out to is the friend of her late husband. That person, hey, you'll be amazed who this person is. That person does not seem to be, that person is not giving her like a good welcome. You will be amazed who that person, the friend of the husband, is. You will be amazed. Please, fragile design. So as they are solving this female lead and male lead, I've not told you who the male lead is, go read it. As they're solving the mystery and all that, a lot of plot twists are unraveling, and of course there is romance. Yeah, this novel. So Holiday Amnesia, and kumbe this book ni ya kitambo. It was not published in 2024. It was published in 2018, if I'm not wrong. And I was like, what have I been doing? Where was I in 2018? What is wrong with me? But I loved this novel. Hey, again, the plot twist captured my heart. The villain is somebody you don't see it coming. Like, you see, like most villains, they like, the author will like have given us more description about, they'll have told us how they're related to the female lead. They will have given us information. We will see them like take a major part in the female lead's life. But this villain, although he's close to the male lead, but he's not even that close to the male lead. I hope I'm not giving away the spoiler. You need to read this novel, Holiday Amnesia. So it opens with a girl who is just out. She's just jumped out of a building that, she's a scientist, a building that has exploded. Now she's there wondering, what is she doing in an exploding building? Is she the one who has caused the explosion? What is she here? Who is chasing after her? Because in her body, she just feels like she needs to run. And everything in her spirit and her body and intrinsic intuitions of zote, they're telling her, run. She does not know where does she run to. She apparently forgets everything apart from her name. At least she remembers her name. So in that midst of confusion, she hears men saying, we need to catch so-and-so, we need to catch so-and-so. So as she's busy trying to run, she bumps into another man. Now, this man, go read it, because this man, go read this novel, Holiday Amnesia. You need this book. Check out the link. All these 3 books are in the link below. You need to read this book, Holiday Amnesia. So Holiday, she gets an amnesia during the holiday seasons. And then there is the aspect of second chance in this mystery novel. So we have the male lead. The male lead does stuff that everybody messes up in relationships. So yeah, so he does stuff and he's busy wanting to reconcile with the female lead. But in all this chaos, the female lead does not know who to trust. Gosh. Holiday Amnesia, worth your time. Read it. Again, the reason if I narrate it the way I want to narrate it to make you understand, I feel like I will give spoilers and then you'll be like, so why should I read it? So, but the story revolves around this lady who is a scientist who is just coming into conscious, and she's seeing an exploded building, and apparently she has jumped out of it. So the only thing she remembers is that she was running away from who she doesn't know, why she doesn't know, and there's an explosion. So she's really suspicious of everyone around her, including the male lead. Yeah. And you need to find out why. And the male lead is not that innocent. And it also covers second chance for the male lead. Yeah, I hope I've encouraged you enough. It's a series. It's called the If I Run series by Terry Blackstock. Another awesome read. This is actually my first mystery novel to read, and it was worth it. And I read all the 3: If I Run, If I'm Found, and If I Live. Woo! amazing, worth your time. So the storyline is about a girl who is accused of killing her best friend, and people think that the best friend is the boyfriend, but actually he is only the best friend. So to make things worse, she's being chased by the police who want her dead. She's being chased by unknown people who want her dead. And in all these situations, she's trying to prove herself innocent. Now, what works to advantage is her late father used to work, was as some sort of FBI. So she knows, like, this is what you do. If you're running from the police, this is what you do. If you're trying to investigate, this is what you do. So that gives her a lot of advantage in maneuvering the situation. Things get worse when they hire an ex-soldier to track her down, and that man is good. He can track people down. He can track her. That man found her. Before she knew it, that man found her. And then there are also some policemen, so she does not know really who to trust. So without giving too much detail, this man who is sent out to track her down, this ex-soldier, is actually the main lead. So the two end up getting involved with each other, but it's not that easy. So you need to read the novel to unravel why is she being chased down. Like, the guy that died was just an ordinary, I think he was a teacher. He was just an ordinary teacher. Why on earth will the police and everyone else want you dead because of a teacher? Just why? If I'm not wrong, the book is far and I can't go get it. Is it here? Actually, it's here. It's down here. But all these books to get down here, no. Read the book and find out for yourself. So the two try to unravel this hidden, like, terror. There's even an involvement of a terror group. Woo. Woo. So the way the story unfolds, it's so interesting and it's so beautiful. Then here we have the male lead who has trauma, PTSD, because he's a soldier. Here we have a girl who has trust issues, and more than trust issues, she is she's a standalone female lead. Okay, it's not a good thing, but she's not like a damsel in distress. She believes in fighting for, before even the male lead comes in to help her. That male lead, I mean, her soul, man, say, because this girl is out there fighting her battles. She's like facing it by herself. She doesn't want to trust anybody. She does not ask help from anyone. She runs away. Her family doesn't know. She's like me, myself, and I. And she does a very good job. Although we all need help, so the male lead forces himself to help her. I know that people who hate such plots. I love such plots. I'm like, come on, male lead, force yourself to help her. Force yourself to help the female lead. So the female lead is not a damsel in distress. She's there are those female lead who do nothing. The male lead do everything. No, this girl is doing the most. She's trying her level best to make sure she stays alive until the very end. I enjoyed this book, especially the way the author characterized the female lead, a very independent woman, but at the end of the day, she was able to evolve to accept help from the male lead, which was awesome and amazing. So the two try to unravel what mystery is all about, the death of just one ordinary guy. Kumbe, the person you think is ordinary, kumbe is not ordinary at all. So if I run, if I live, if I'm found, it's called the If I Run series. Worth your time. I would like to mention that all these three are Christian novels. So they are Christian mystery novels. So if you're a Christian and you're looking for novels to read, Nani, please, you will love this book. And then I know there are some Christian novels that are a bit preachy. Again, I don't have issues with them, but personally, I prefer a novel to do what a novel is supposed to do, entertain. But I know that people will disagree with me, which is okay. But they are not preachy. They talk about God without being preachy. I don't know how to. They reveal about God without being too preachy. The story is, there are some books they preach more than give the story. I believe if I want to listen to a preach, I will listen to a sermon. But that's a very personal level. But when you read these three novels, the If I Run series, Holiday Amnesia, and Fragile Design, they are very Christian. You will tell that this is a novel written by a Christian. However, they are not preachy. Even if you're not a Christian, you can still read this novel and enjoy the mystery in it. So I hope I've encouraged you enough to check out these novels. If you're looking for them, link in the description. Soft copy at a very affordable price. We got you, and join me in seeing how awesome these novels are. Until next time, happy reading.